Alright, what's up guys? Another week, another track. We're at Silverstone Grand Prix. The old version of Silverstone. I haven't got the new version yet. Someday soon. So, just gonna take the lime rock set out, run some laps here, get warmed up. So I did some more reading on load transfer and all that fun stuff, because last video kind of was taking a different approach, and after doing some more reading I kind of found that I was going, it's kind of hard to explain, but I figured everything out basically. So I was combining two different concepts together into one, but they're actually two completely different things, and that's what I'm going to try and explain right now. So the first thing is load transfer, and I'll put links to a good article on this you should read first, and then read the second link second, what goes into the individual settings. Because in the second link is what I was reading last week, and it didn't really cover what was in the first link very well, so that's why I was kind of grouping the two different subjects together as one thing. But the idea with load transfer, it's all based off the center of gravity of the car and where it's located, and the width of the car, the track of the car, and how hard the car is being driven into the corner. Just those three factors. So for example, if you make the car lower, you have a lower center of gravity, there's going to be less load transfer, whether that's forward or after or side to side. Same thing if you drive slower into a corner, there's going to be less load transfer forward and aft, side to side. So with less load transfer, that allows the tires to have more weight on them. So like what I was saying last week, when the car's just sitting stationary, there's a certain amount of weight on each tire. That's the most friction those tires are going to have. So when you get into a corner and the load transfer happens, say from like this corner, from the inside tire to the outside tire, the overall grip of those two tires when we are just going straight is always going to be higher than when you turn into a corner. When you turn into a corner, the overall grip of the two front tires is always going to be less, and that's all. How much less or how better it is all dependent on the load transfer and how much load is being transferred. And then that goes back to, well, how can you affect load transfer? Again, it's with the track. So if you have a skinnier car with the same ride height as a car with a wider track with the same ride height, the skinnier car is going to transfer more load because it has a narrower width to it. And it's the same like if you just made that forward and aft. A car that has a shorter wheelbase is going to transfer more load over a car that has a longer wheelbase, both having the same ride height. So those three things, the width, the overall width of the car or length of the car, the ride height of the car, and what's the third thing? Oh, how hard you're driving the car into the corner. Those are the three things that affect how much grip goes from the inside tire to the outside tire in the corner. So that's what I was kind of talking about last week about making the car stiffer so it transfer the weight quicker. But that's where I got confused. That's wrong. It was the only thing that affects the inside and out, how much grip the front tires retain, like I was just talking about, is the load transfer. It's only those three things. And then, so if we can't affect the width of the car, right? We can't tune that. The only thing we can really do, the two things we affect, is how we drive the car and the ride height of the car. So ideally you want to get the ride height as low as possible so you're transferring less load so the tires keep as much grip as possible. I hope this is making sense. I know it's kind of, because I'm kind of just speaking without writing it down, getting it all organized, but I just want the main concept to be you want the littlest load transfer as possible so the tires keep the most grip as possible. That should make sense, and you can only do that with the width of the car, the length of the car, the ride height of the car, and how hard the car is being turned into the corner. Now we get into the second concept that I had to figure out how to split up, and that's how quickly that load is transferred. That affects how the car is handled, and you affect that with the springs, anti-roll bars, the shocks, the dampeners. That's how you affect the roll stiffness, and that's where I was kind of going the wrong direction, because I was thinking by making the roll stiffness as stiff as possible, it would affect the load, that overall load transfer. That's not true. Again, the only thing that affects the overall load transfer that gives us the optimized tire contact patches are the center of gravity, the width of the car, and length of the car, or the track, and how hard you drive the car into the corner. So once you get basically our ride heights adjusted to make it the car as efficient as possible as far as transferring as little load as possible, then all we can do is affect how fast that load's transferred. So we basically, we can tweak cambers a little bit to give ourselves a little bit better tire contact patches and stuff like that. But basically you just have, it's just set that way. That's how the tires are going to behave. That's how the contact patches are going to behave. Now you got to affect how fast that load. Now you got to affect the handling of the car with how fast the load's being transferred. And again, you do that with the roll bars, the springs, the shocks, and the dampeners. And the mistake I was making last week is I was thinking I'd just make it super, super stiff, and it kind of went against my intuition of knowing you kind of want the car to roll a little bit, because the main concept with affecting the speed or how quick the load's transferred is with the nope, sorry, hold on a second. Somebody, no. Somebody just walked in. Alright, what was I saying? Alright, so how quickly the load is now transferred. It's the second part. So the overall concept is it's a basic relationship between the front axle and the rear axle, or the front suspension, the rear suspension. And if you make the front end stiffer than the rear end, it's going to cause more oversteer. And this is kind of more what I understood, like, a year and a half, 2 years ago. These kind of basic ideas. I had never split up the whole load transfer part from this part I'm talking about right now, and so now it just made things everything really starts to make sense, because sometimes I'd read you want, to have a lower, you'd want to have the car stiffer so it'd have a better bite, but they're more talking about road car suspensions that are a lot softer, where you get in the race stuff. If it starts getting too stiff, then it'll be caught in the front. If it's too stiff, it'll cause oversteer. If it's in the rear and it's too stiff, it'll cause oversteer. So now that I know that, I'll be able to hopefully find the little balance and be able to clear up, you know, more of these thoughts just by putting them into practice, because again, I know this is kind of a bit of a ramble, but I just wanted to get that out there because I know everything I said last week wasn't correct, and I'm just always trying to learn and really get these things figured out so I can understand the best as possible. And when I go into each adjustment, I'll go into more detail about all this stuff I've been talking about. But right now, just need to actually start running some laps because I've been kind of just putzing around here. Been on like total autopilot. So I think what I was probably, hey, what's up, Wheels? Last week I probably just made the car too stiff, like, because I was thinking just by making stiffer springs, I could create less load transfer, and by creating less load transfer, that means the inside tire would have more grip, and that's just, it's not true. So now that I know that, I can probably go a little bit softer on the suspension, or just approach it in a different way, the correct way, really. Because using my philosophy from last week, I would have wanted to actually, because there's a little bit of understeer in the car right now, I would have wanted to stiffen up the springs a little bit more to try and, again, to do something that actually doesn't happen and make that inside tire have more grip, because that's not the way it works. So now I can actually soften the springs up a little bit, because then we'll have less roll stiffness in the front. And if you have less roll stiffness in the front relative to the rear, it'll give the front more bite. Basically, whatever end has more roll stiffness is the end that's going to lose grip first. So if the front end is stiffer in the rear, you're going to push. If the rear end's stiffer in the front, you're going to get loose. Yeah, there'll be links. I'm going to... they'll be in the YouTube video. Actually, since you guys are here, and I haven't really put together a coherent lap yet, I'm gonna get out. I'll put the links in the Twitch chat here real quick. Read this one. No, wait, don't read that one first. Read that one second. But read the Grassroot Motorsports one first, because that's the one that really helps clear everything up. Alright, let's see if I can just drive a race car right now. And just in default weather, 78 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 26 degrees Celsius. And I'm getting better at these conversions, 25 degrees Celsius, and then I think 104 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere around 40 degrees Celsius. So I'm gonna start doing all my initial sessions in default weather, because it's kind of a very logical way to do it, because you're kind of in the middle of the spectrum, so the set'll be more adapted going either way, as opposed to just starting a realistic weather session. Whether it's super hot or super cold, the car's gonna be, if you get in a cold session, it's gonna probably not be as adapted as it would be if it was a, you know, default weather setup. I just think it's a little more logical to do it this way. Power down, she loose. Now I'm just gonna figure out where my braking points are, what gear I should be in for the corner, so third gear for the chicane, fourth gear through here. Keep it in fourth. I'll go down one. Third gear or second? Third gear. Second. Oh. Second. Fourth gear. Oh, is it? Well, I'm glad I'm streaming. I thought it was a Grand Prix version. Wait, is there another version? I don't... Because they kept seeing historic. Wait, dude. I think I'm about to get really excited because I don't think I've ever realized this version of the tracks existed before. Because I always thought historic was just the old Grand Prix track because, you know, there's a whole new version of the track. Dude. I don't think I've ever driven this version of the track before. I'm excited because I'm thinking it has less chicanes. And I don't mind chicanes that have always been part of the track. I hate chicanes that were added for safety. I get it, you know, you have to be safer. But let's face it, they absolutely ruin the flow of every single track they're in. And it was only done for safety. So in the pure enjoyment of racing and having fun, I think it's a lot funner without chicanes because the track, that's more their natural flow, especially with old school tracks, because old school tracks were what were old school tracks? They're natural terrain tracks, and they just had, I think they just have better flow than any modern track like Coda, or like, yeah, you can find a flow in it, but it's just takes forever and it's not natural. I haven't found a modern track that feels natural. Alright, so we're at historic. Let's see what okay. Let's see what this is all about. Yeah, 24-hour race, it was going really good. And then we just made a mistake. And the car got damaged. Just got, you know, made a mistake with lap traffic, and I think we were like in 6th or 5th. I mean, if we would have just not had trouble, we probably would have got 2nd place in the race. But we had trouble. That's 24-hour racing. Car got damaged, took it back out, and then it wasn't really fully repaired from all the damage. So it hit the wall on that Rouge, and that was it. But I mean, it was going really good right up until that point. Alright, what is historic all about here? I am intrigued. Oh, that's different. Ooh. What? I can't believe I've never driven this before. This is a trip. It's like an old video games when you'd find like the little secret level, or this is sick. Oh, sweet. That one corner is going to be hard, though. No. Of course, I wish it was the old version where I mean, these corners have tons of character, and I mean, if you're going to do a chicane, do it like this section, but the old version where it just cuts through on the left here, and then just you go flying through here, you're probably in like 5th, 6th gear going through woodcut. That would be wicked. Alright. So, are the bleachers even different? Like or am I just tripping? Like, is it an old historical? I mean, like, are the billboards old too? I feel like the stands are different. Like, that looks different. Or I'm just tripping. Probably just tripping. third gear through her. Yeah, my stints went well too, but I just kept getting phantom black flags, so every time I get in a rhythm or all the gaps that I would work real hard to close, they just, basically in all my stints, I think we gained like 3 positions, but I never really gained on the car I was racing in front of him. He was like 20 seconds ahead of me the whole time, even though I'd bring the gap down, but then I'd get like a phantom black flag. I got 4 of them in 3 hours going through radial, but not once did I get an incident for him. It got to the point where I wouldn't even touch the white line on the curb on radial. Alright. Trying to make a practice video here. Not being very quick about it. Yeah, with the front end to turn a little bit more through there. That's cool. So we're doing a new, different version of the track. Yeah, that was a good thing about our situation, Danny, is at least everybody got to drive the car. It's a bummer you guys went out so early. Man, this is a little tricky little section, especially for this corner. Yeah, that's gonna take a while to figure out, because it's a decreasing radius corner, and those are always tricky corners. There I can probably go flat out through. Keep it in third, then we'll go down to second. Keep it in second. I didn't see it, but my team, because I wasn't awake, but my teammate told me about it. It sucked you guys were out so early. Yeah, definitely too much understeer right now. Not gonna lie, that just feels awkward. I prefer the other version. It's technical, figure it out, but yeah, definitely flat out through here, that's correct. Yeah, too fast. So I wonder if I have too much wing on the car right now. might be making it push a little bit in the fast stuff. Ooh. Broke a little too late. Car recovered nicely though. I'm keeping in fourth gear a little bit longer. Oh man, that's such a weird corner. I don't like that corner at all. Even the slow stuff, that feels like there's a little push in the front, so maybe soften up the springs, roll bar or something. Let's see. .95. Put it on its inside curb and see what it does. Maybe that's what you just gotta do. Early apex. Try that for a couple laps. Yeah, I don't think I need to go up to 5th gear. I think I still got enough gear. If I don't have to, I don't want to. That was a good idea. It's close. It's definitely close. And who knows, maybe when I start getting a little more speed, I'll need to. Sometimes earlier in the week you're not as fast as you are later in the week, and then you get faster later and you start having to use another gear sometimes. Trying to apex where the curbs actually aren't. Ugh. That didn't work as well as just hitting the curb and just flooring it early apex. I also kind of think late apex is the way you're actually supposed to do it, but I'll have to keep testing. That's when I like to shift to, but I don't like to go up into another gear if I'm only going to be in it for like a fraction of a second, then I have to get on the brakes. I'd rather just let it rev up a little bit more. What's up, Berta? How you doing, bud? Try 5th. Yeah, see, it just... Ugh. We're drifting. I made that corner. I didn't think that corner could be harder. I made that corner harder. I'm impressed. Just by carrying that much more speed in there, it just makes that corner so much harder. Because at least in the old version, like when you came out of it, you came out a lot lower speed. So in most cars, lower end cars, you could at least floor it coming out and it'd be somewhat stable. But it's always been a tricky corner for me. Now it's just... it's like 10 times harder in my opinion, you know? This is a default weather there, bro.
41.72.
We're gonna go for super late apex here. Alright, there we go. Fastest I've gone through there. That was a little too fast. So I just got too much understeer in it right now, I think. I'll get there.
41.3.
I'm still learning. It's a 4-wing right now. Yeah. I think it's gonna take me a while to get that corner down, that's for sure. Yeah, I'll definitely experiment with lower wings later on. Right now I just need to figure out the track. I like a late apex for that corner, same with this corner. That was kind of middle late. That's when I always just hug the curb all the way around. Maybe let it drift out a little bit and do a double apex. I can just get a little straighter line off the corner. I know. You've been telling me all season. I'm just stubborn. I like that little extra security. I've always been this way. I've always ran more wing than everybody though. I guess to me, confidence is worth more time than just actually a car that's theoretically faster. For me, it's the confidence is more faster than the faster car. And it's more fun because you're not scared all the time. Try and drive a little bit smoother. I think I started over driving a bit. I guess, yeah, it's the first time I've hit the rev and they're going through there. So I was talking about earlier, as you get a little bit more comfortable, you might need to start using another gear. Or it just might be the perfect little safety mechanism, keep me going too fast into that corner, almost acting like a little speed limiter for it. I like to use that as a tool sometimes. Try and get a later apex there. Rear end's just a little slippery through there. I'm not sure if it's because I have to put so much wheel into it at the beginning of the corner that it finally snaps loose or what. Probably need to look at my tire pressures. Say they're probably all over the place right now. Done 12 laps. Do one more lap here. Check out our tire pressures. Oh, way too fast, bro. Alright, let's see what our tires are at. bring this up a click. This up a click. Take the wing down to, let's just run 1 and see what it feels like. See, right now it's not faster down the straights because my tires haven't got up to pressure. When the tires get up to pressure, you'll see it'll be faster down the straight. So we're just going into 5th here because I think not sure if I need to or not yet. Right now, I don't think you need a wing for qualifying. That's a fact. Well, it's not a fact yet, because I don't know for sure. But that lap is very sticky. You'll see what, like, the next 2 or 3 laps are like. 3 laps are like. That was anti-roll bar. Good job. Well, that really did help the rear end with grip. I'll tell you that much right now. No wonder it felt good. Because everything I just did was to give it more grip. Thank you, Wheels. That's twice I've already been corrected today. It's good. Saved me probably about 2 hours of making bad videos. I was rather surprised by how much grip the rear end felt like it had. Because it felt so good through the whatever. This no-name corner up here on the right. Probably has a name, but I don't know it. The rear end was just stuck. Let's see if it still is. Yeah, it feels pretty good. Hopefully we can, again, like I was saying before, we can get away with run no wing for qualifying. Because the tires will have enough grip the first couple laps, or maybe the car will have the grip the whole race. Who knows? We'll see. Too fast. Wrong gear. Stop trucking. More driving. It felt good as far as grip for a qualifying lap is concerned. Come on, just turn. Getting rear end feels like it has good grip. I probably just carried too much speed into the corner. I still have to figure that corner out. Carry a lot of speed into that corner. I definitely can get one lap of qualifying out of it with no wing. And again, this is with a full tank. This isn't even with qualifying fuel. And not knowing what I'm doing through a corner. Too fast on entry there. I just want to have fun. Just gonna try and go for a little drift, but snap back on me too quick. Man, figure out this corner. What do I do? What do I do? I don't think I should be going to 6th gear there. Really late apex on that corner seems to work well for me. Just really want to get a good run out of this corner, that corner, so I can get a good run down hanger straight, maybe make a pass on somebody. Dang it, I went to 6 again. Yeah, remember not to do that next lap. I feel like I have too much rear brake bias. I'm gonna go down 2 clicks on the brake bias. Take it down to 46.5. Car still feels like it has decent grip. Might even do a longer run just to see how it feels all the way through.
41.0.
I mean, the track is 105 degrees. It's not exactly cool. So if it survives this, it's probably good for almost all conditions, except for the really hot stuff. Might want to add another degree of wing, but we'll see what happens after. Run some more laps here. Putting a little bit more rear brake bias helped just trail braking on that corner. I was just pushing a little too much with the other brake bias. There we go. That felt pretty good. Something kind of clicked there. I think it's just really getting used to what speed the car needs to be able to go through the corner properly. I think I kind of just had a kind of synced up with what that engine speed sounds like right there. Hopefully that continues. Too fast. I'm kind of driving sloppily, just so you guys know. Probably heating the tires up a little bit more than I should be right now, especially the fronts, probably because I'm overdriving corner entry, so I'll try and back it up a bit.
40.82.
Oh boy. Yeah, probably did damage. Alright, well, at least check the tire pressures. Alright, they're definitely equalized. Left rear is still pretty hot. Let's see here. See what happens when I take a clicker roll bar out of the front. Soften up that front end a little bit more. Try and get a little more oversteer going. So with making that front roll bar softer, we're just allowing the front to roll a little bit more, which will allow the front end to be not quite as stiff, won't have quite as stiff a roll center as the rear, which causes more general oversteer in the car. It'll allow the front end to bite a little bit more if you make the front end a little bit softer relative to the rear. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. The front springs were already as soft as they could be, so I went for the roll bar. I just realized I could maybe change my caster to make the car get through these corners just a little bit better, because that worked really well at Donington for those hairpins when I had a little bit less caster in the car. That's something I'll definitely try out later. Yeah, I bet it's a little loose. Especially with no wing. That's in a little hotter weather too. I don't know, we'll have to do some testing with other cars on track. I'll have to run a lot more laps before I'll know exactly what wing I'm gonna run. You can already see there's definitely more rotation in the car. The car's oversteering more now just with that simple roll bar adjustment. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. So now I might actually put a little bit stiffer springs in it just to take a little bit of that stiffness away, but maybe it'll be less of an adjustment than putting a stiffer roll bar on there. Something I'm thinking about. First, let's run some more laps with it. I'm in the wrong gears. Another good side effect of the softer roll bar is it makes the front end more compliant over the curbs and bumps by allowing the two sides of the suspension to act a little more independently of each other. I broke too late, now we're gonna drift. Definitely got better initial bite through here. It's just, I don't know, give it some more laps. Feels like it could just be too loose on the middle and exit after some time. Felt pretty good through there. Nah, I messed up the last part of that. The rest of it was really good. Just carried a little bit too much speed, or I didn't turn in soon enough. I broke a little too conservatively there. I'll do a lot of practice before I race just to get this variation of the track down, mostly just the one corner. Everything else is pretty much is familiar. So that one corner is a bit odd. The other corner is just a fast hair or a kink, so it's not like you really need to spend a lot of time learning how to go flat out through a kink. Let's see if I can get any kind of consistency going right now.
40.73.
Oh boy. Front end just needs some ammo, actually. Put a little bit stiffer springs in the front end. We gotta lower the whole car too, because we're not bottoming out on anything. This isn't a bumpy track, so let's go ahead and it's a ride height difference. $35. Okay, so go down. How much is that? Oh, too low. Probably have to get it over 65. So we'll make this. We'll make this like 99. I'm actually gonna make the rear end a little bit lower relative to the front end than it was just previously. It's too much. I'll go back one. That's good. And then let's put some stiffer springs in the front. See how that feels. Just because now the front end feels like it's too soft, like there's too much front end roll soft. The front end's too soft relative to the rear now. Just a little bit, kind of feels kind of mushy up there, so we'll put a little bit stiffer springs in it and see how that feels. So again, the roll bar, the shocks, the springs all affect the roll stiffness of the car, but what I'm just learning is how they affect it differently. Like, you know, 2 setups ago, 2 adjustments ago, we had a stiffer roll bar and much softer springs, but now we have a softer roll bar and stiffer springs. It kind of getting back to how it was before, but in a different way, so. It's doing a little exploring. Tell you, it already does feel better as far as firmness and just responsiveness. There's a little oversteer there though. Does feel a bit bouncier now though. Maybe need to change the dampers. But it feels better through the high speed stuff for sure. And again, so now we adjusted the 2 different, been here since the beginning, we will adjust those 2 different dimensions I was talking about in the beginning. We just adjusted load transfer. So by changing the ride height. So with that adjustment, we've now allowed the inside tires to always have more grip than they had before. So now the tires are going to have more overall grip in the front and rear, and that goes for braking and accelerating and turning in corners. So now we have less load transfer, which gives us best overall grip. But the second dimension of that is in the front, we changed how fast that front end does transfer the load, which makes it's transferring just a little bit faster now, which creates a stiffer front roll stiffness relative to the static rear roll stiffness before. And again, when you make the front end a little bit stiffer relative to the rear end, then you create more understeer in the car, more push. So that's kind of, oh, way too fast. So that's kind of explaining how we're doing the 2 different aspects of changes right there and how they affect the car. So that's also something I have to take into account right now. It's just the car's going to probably feel more planted now because it's lower to the ground, and we're going to have more grip than we would before just because of our lower center of gravity now. So that's cool. This being a smooth track, we can get the car as low as possible. I'll do probably some more experimenting with that rear end too. It does feel a bit understeery through there right now. Again, that might be something I just adjust with the caster. Alright, thanks, Wheels. Put that on my notes.
44.76.
What springs you running in the front, though? That felt really good. Oh, pretty good for still feeling awkward as far as not really knowing what line I need to take through there. Just not figuring out what lines work for me best yet. Man, it feels a lot better. Still, I want to mess with that caster eventually. Again, just by creating less caster, basically, it allows the front wheels to turn sharper, to really simplify it, and just allows you to have a smaller turning radius, which really helps for hairpins. When you have more caster, the car just doesn't want to turn around in a hairpin in as little radius as it would. It's like comparing like a four-wheel drive truck compared to turning a little Honda Civic. The Honda Civic's just gonna, it's for explanation purposes, but it's less caster, you can turn in a tighter circle. Alright, cool. Thanks, Wheels. Good to know. Yeah, man, I'm having trouble focusing right now, though. Driving like a muppet. We just hug this curb the whole time? Is that what we do? Not quite sure yet. It seemed to work pretty well. You get a good run out of there. I don't really think you're ever going to be able to make passes on people into this corner, though. That's because it's just, you can drive into this corner pretty hard. Can be that. I mean, that's, people try and throw it in there. There's probably going to be a wreck. Yeah, let's see if I can focus for a couple laps here. What's up, Master?
41.38.
I definitely like the way the stiffer front end feels there because it transfers the load in a faster rate, so it allows for a more responsive front end, which is really good for those corners where you're going back and forth. Those types of corners. Man, that was not good. That was bad. Just kind of really wasn't paying attention. Yeah. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Let's adjust the caster right now. I'll bring it back down to, I think I was running like 5.984 at Donington, and that worked out really well for me for the hairpin, so I'll try that again. Dampeners. Dampeners. Yeah, you gotta roll on the throttle. Same with the brake, it's just, you know, real smooth inputs. Yeah, with that little caster adjustment, in theory we'll be able to get through those little last two hairpins a little bit better. Might hurt us a little bit for the high-speed stuff, but we'll see. Or it could help us. So this slow speed stuff isn't really gonna notice it. Feels good. A little too much speed and I just don't want to lift. Feels good. Feels good. Let's adjust those dampers though. While we're at it. I actually think I want to take some of the compression out. But I want to do it in the high speed. I want to try and let the front springs, because the high speed is what controls when you hit bumps and curves and stuff. So by taking a little bit of the damping out, I'm hoping it'll allow the spring to absorb the bump better and not bounce as much. Actually gonna go up. Gonna go back up to 46.8 on the brake bias, because that front end seems to be turning a little bit better on entry. And by taking a little bit of the compression out of the front end, where the nose is, it's gonna slow down the load transfer to the front, so it's gonna have a little bit more gradual turn-in than before. maybe do a little double apex there. I think that's the best I got through that corner. Dang, rear end is just a little too happy going through there right now. I think I'll take a click a rear roll bar out of it. We'll run a couple laps here first though. So I gotta get my rhythm down for those corners too. Ran a little loose through there. Got a little more consistency going right now, which is good.
40.43.
If I think I want to soften up that rear end just a little bit, just see we got that little drift going there. I don't want that. Too fast. Ah! practicing to do for that corner right now. Alright, let's soften up the rear end a little bit. First we'll save this because we're starting to make progress. But I don't even think I'm going to put this on the forums yet. I'll have to do some more practicing. It's default weather. So I'll just put default. Actually, no, I'll put the temps. Was it 20, 25? Yeah, whatever. 25.5 degrees Celsius. Somewhere around 40. I don't know, it's default. Alright. Now, liking the tire pressure is nice and even. Take a click out of this roll bar in the rear. And I'm going to take a little bit of a gap out of the bump stop because it is bottoming out in turn 12 under the bridge. It's bottoming out there, so I'm going to take a little of the bump stop gap out and see if it still bottoms out. This will cause a little bit more stiffness in the front end too, which will probably create a little more oversteer, so I'll be sensitive to that and see if it actually does or not. 40? Yeah, cool, thank you. I thought so, because that's my trick to remembering it. It's 104 degrees Fahrenheit, so you just take the 4 and the 0 and flip them around, it's 40 degrees in Celsius. And here's a couple tricks like that, like 35 degrees Celsius is 95 degrees Celsius. That one kind of stuck with me. And then like, I know 20 is 68 because 70 minus 2 is 68. That's actually, remembered that conversion. And then 30 is 86, and I remembered that conversion because that's my, in high school, that was one of my buddy's football numbers. Alright, rear end feels pretty good. Of course, we are on the installation lap, but it's already better, without a doubt. So you need a nice secure car to get through that corner properly. Because you're constantly changing your speed through that corner. You're constantly decelerating through it. I don't know, it's kind of... It's the nature of that corner, kind of throws the car off balance. So you gotta have a really stable platform to get through there. So you can just drive through there basically however you want. Oh, way too fast. Hey, what's up, Rob? How you doing, bud? Okay, let's go. Next time. That's I'll learn that next year. Yeah, it really helps stabilize this car. Rear end, just that one click out. So we just softened up that roll stiffness of the rear end just a little bit, and so it's more relative to, you know, the front roll stiffness where we didn't change that at all. Now just with a little bit softer rear roll stiffness, it creates a little bit more understeer in the car focusing on the rear end, so helps that rear end just grip a little bit more because now it's not quite oversteering like it was before. It really made a big difference, that roll bar. A lot more security in the car now.
.04.
Yeah, it's so much better through there now. It's just not all before. It's just not flopping around like it was before. Got a really good exit out of there that time. Yeah, I got a little more confident, or yeah, more confidence to carry a little more speed through there right now. There we go, that's the best I've got through there. It looks like going up to 5th gear is a good idea, bud. Should have listened to you all along. Ugh, I'm just butchering that corner right now. Just lost so much time. No, I'll get it figured out.
40.24.
I don't know about this no wing stuff though. I know I'm not gonna stick with it. So might as well just put more wing in it right now, and I think I'm gonna do a little bit longer run. There's just no way I know I'm gonna stick with that. What else did I want to do though? Actually, since I put more wing in it, I probably won't do what I wanted to do. Well, before I do that, I'll actually do what I was going to do. I'm just gonna soften up the rear springs just a little bit. I'm gonna let the rear end drop a little bit more too. So again, now we're changing that center of gravity of the rear end, which affects actual overall load transfer. So now that the rear end's lower relative to the front end, as far as center of gravity, where it's located, it'll actually allow us to brake a little bit, but have more stability under braking as well, and acceleration. And it'll also help snug up that rear end just a little bit for the corners. Trying to do a full run here just so I can really see how this wing feels for myself. Might as well restart because I probably damaged the car. No sense in doing a full run with a possibly damaged car. Alright, I'm gonna run some laps. I'm gonna turn the relative off because I feel that distracts me too much when I'm in this mode of my training or getting ready. So now I'm just gonna run some laps. Try to do a full run here. And call it. This is gonna be the longest video ever. Touch the grass. Back the way I got through that last corner right there. Yeah, best lap coming up.
40.09.
I had to stop myself from trying to drift there. Alright, 14 laps till I have to fill up.
41.73.
a 6th flying lap right now. Starting to find a little spot like in Watkins Glen when you're going through the carousel. I look in front of me, I find a little thing right now I can get back on the little marking right now I can get back on the gas. So I'm already muppety in this corner, might as well. So as we're coming around this corner, when what is it? See the red and white in the paint. When I start to see this part right here, like when I can start seeing the red and the white of the wall coming up, that's when my car's pointed at that. That's about when I know it's okay to start getting on the gas and for the exit of that corner. Same kind of thing I did, like I was saying, I do at Watkins Glen. Just a little trick to help you. Waiting for it. I kind of drove in there way too fast, but then I get back on the gas and I see that little change from red to white in there. I just drove in there way too fast.
40.76.
Alright, 11 laps in, 7 laps till pit, or thereabouts. It's definitely starting to get pretty greasy. That felt pretty good right there, though. Only 2/10 off my best right now, so feels all right. But at times, the rear end does get a little out of shape, like right there, kind of wants to swing around on you. Here, kind of wants to get side with, but it kind of feels like it's understeer induced, like I have too much wheel in it, and when I get on the gas it kind of snaps loose. Definitely still need to do a lot more laps before I really have the set sorted. Squirrely through there. Alright, 6 laps till pit.
40.89. What do we need to do, Brian? How much of an adjustment do you want?
pushing. Wow. Alright. Pretty well burnt out. So that's okay. I'm gonna do a lot more work on it before I post something on the forums, because right now it's just, I gotta do a lot more testing before I know if I like the set or not. Let's look at the tires real quick. Right now I haven't done enough testing to know if I like it or not. Man, that left rear is hot. Some of the hotter temps I've seen in a while. Yeah, it's definitely a nice little change of pace. Nice little surprise. Definitely gonna have to take a little bit while to learn that newer corner, whatever it's called. What's it called? Club. Learn the nuances of club a little bit better. Just gotta run some more laps. Get there. But I think for today, that's gonna be about it. Alright guys, I'll see you later. See you later, Birdo, Wheels, Rob. Take it easy guys. Till next time.